Off, thank you all for coming and supporting me with my book. I've been planning this for a long time. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you. I do want to give some special thanks, of course, Ed Miller, who, helped me with my last book, getting it put together, and this book. And so beyond the editing, he's also a photographer who I've been able to utilize. Almost all the pictures in this book are from his catalog. And so he is my collaborator, my mentor, and my dear, dear friend. Thank you, Ed. And I want to thank my wife for coming out. She's going to listen to my poetry for the first time. It's only been 25 years. Hi, come on in. Welcome, welcome. Hey, what's up, Dave? There's room back there by my wife, or there's room over here on the sides. Thank you, Dave. I'm glad I held the house for some of the most important people. Dave just got back from a mission trip to Africa, and he had the very first copy, the final proof copy, and he took it international with him. And he came back, so hey. I also want to thank Jason over here, my other good buddy. He is helping me sell the merch. So if you haven't gotten a book, grab a book if you want to follow along. You can pay him now or you can pay him later. I'm not worried about that right now. I also got magnets for sale. The new book is $10. The older book I brought a few copies of, that's $8. I use whole numbers because I'm bad at math and it's easier that way. Cash only unless you want to cash out me or just connect with me. Magnets are $4 each. The bigger one is $5 because it's bigger and costs more. There'll be more down the road, but I figure I'd start with 4 staples that I know will be popular, hopefully popular with you guys. Little daily, inspirational, life affirmation, pick me up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Each and every one of you have been a part of my life here in the Valley for the last 10 plus years in different capacities, including here at Jefferson Spirits, a place I really like, including the brand new remodeled downstairs here for our speakeasy. We do trivia. We used to do it down here. Now we're doing it upstairs where apparently they're doing music tonight. Yeah, which means I brought a drum. So after this, I go upstairs and jam. Nice. Because that's what I do. Thank you all. Let's get the show on the road. And like Kermit would go, I'm more of a scooter guy. Some of you already took my pen out and signed. I'll be able to do that for each and every one of you when we're all done with the reading. But I also have it up here on the screen for those of us who are visually impaired, like myself. Martine, perfect timing. All right. So I've been working on these poems for the last, some of them I've been writing 30 years ago. And I put my last book out 5 years ago. Thank you, Ed. But right after we finished that book, he put one of my newer poems into a pictorial form using one of his photos, and I loved it. And we did it again and again. And that's been 5 years of doing it again and again. And we decided it was time to make it a collection. We did a calendar a few years ago, and now we have a book. Envision. And by the way, today is the first day of fall. Happy equinox. This is something I'm into that, including our drum circles when we do the new seasons. The Rogue Valley at sunrise with the morning mist. Okay. That's why I had to clarify. It's a morning mist. It could have been a fire. It's a Rogue Valley. But it's prettier that way. So I'm going to read the book page to page to page. You're welcome to follow along with it in your hands, or we'll just kind of do it here. I liked the raven imagery. When I saw the picture, I knew that had to be the book cover, and therefore I had a theme to go with the story. So Envision. The raven is a majestic bird full of symbolism and mysticism, representing wisdom and transformation. A raven is a prophetic custodian between imagination and the realm of creation. Like a divine omen, it harbors hidden truths, now exposed as eternal insight. This elegant messenger reveals our rebirth as a reflection of our own earnest soul. It is both a foreboding emissary and a connection to the wonders of nature. To guide our human experience beyond the tangible, embracing the raven as a companion can serve to shape our destiny. These poems are my favorite originals, paired with the imagery that intends to enhance the words into a more profound expression. Many of the pictures selected are from my dear friend, Edward Miller, whose contributions to this project goes beyond the camera, as he has been an equal collaborator and as a publisher. His enthusiasm and rich history as a writer and visual storyteller have helped me to elevate these verses into timeless works of art. I hope you think they are timeless works of art. I made it so there you go. I dedicate this book to Jim Johnson, my beloved best friend, long past. When I began to write 30 years ago, I was new to town. I was in Madison at the time. We quickly became close friends with similar tastes in music and love for outdoors and solace. But it was a passion for writing that would define our truth. Jim was in a wheelchair and struggled with physical setbacks. Yet his short stories provided a path for healing and provided me with healing and resilience. He was first to encourage me to keep writing these poems, providing me with prompts to serve as an accountability buddy, and as I hone my own voice. I find many of my closest friends, many of you are here, don't walk the traditional paths. And from this view askew, that's a Kevin Smith reference, thank you, they find genuine personal strength. My wish for this compelling collection is to lift you up, to carry your thoughts into that realm between the worlds, to let that raven deep within, asking only to influence, to seek, to envision. Don't worry, it's a lot. The other pages are a lot shorter. Shorter. Wow. Hey, I like it on big screen TV. So a lot of these are, I'll have some full poems, whether they're sonnets or free verse. Some of them would just be little snippets of parts of other poetry I've written that I thought would stand alone to go with these images. Some of them may be from AI, others, of course, from Ed. This one, I just like it. I don't care where it came from. With purpose I push to ever prevail. Here I await for what's awaiting me. A new day is filled with hope and promise. A forward step into who I shall be, where I can pursue my dreams with purpose. Here I awake and take a cleansing breath in wonder for what has yet to become, for whom I encounter along this path, as I am beckoned to where I belong. That's the opening to the new book that I'm going to be working on and keep not writing, because I got to get to that again. I do a lot of pentameter, and that's one of my stronger voices, as you'll hear about more later. But I also am all about setting up a positive outlook and helping shift the perspective into something more constructive and healthy. But sometimes I also like just fun wordplay. I call upon the ancients, with intention I invite. Revealed through the elements, mystic realms beheld this night. From this water we are cleansed, a sacred current so pure, unbound into the oceans, anointing all of nature. From the fire we are made anew, when gathered round its flame. Smoke averts the lunar view, so prolific to proclaim. As so from the air, the sky, echoes profess as the wind. Compelled, they hereby comply to grant celestial wisdom. From the forest, Mother Earth, solemn in prophetic ways. We seek guidance and rebirth, begotten by our praise. Finally, from the ether, for creation is divine, we circle here beneath her and embrace her grand design. So that is one that I wrote with my, thank you very much. That's one of my newer and favorite ones too. I do a drum circle, inviting the spirits every 4 times a year when we do the new seasons. And based on our traditions we do with that, I decided, you know what, I can write my own. And found a perfect picture. And so now it's a magnet too. Yeah. So magnets for your fridge or your locker to do a little daily affirmation pick-me-up. Haiku. One of my favorite poetry formats is a haiku. This has 3 structured lines, 5, 7, 5 syllables. Traditionally evoking images of the natural world, while their lines are not rhyming, the use of vivid symbolism and metaphor are presumed. Yeah. Well, I'm drawn to this. I'm drawn to such a compressed structure is that it forces me to deliver the messages with a focused and impactful sentiment. I found that many of the readers of modern poetry are really attracted to a shorter, compressed story. 3 lines, 4 lines, get to the point, keep it simple, make it impactful. And so a lot of this book is filled with the short verses that'll keep your attention. Some of these longer ones I'm going to maybe skip over as we go along because you can read them in full during your own personal time. But listen to that voice, that heart-heavy conviction as grace intervenes. Haiku. I do a lot of poetry on spiritual, faith-based, nature, love, loss, struggle. Grace can intervene, help out. When I got baptized, I happened upon a father and son and their spirit within. A choice to be made so I can be saved, eternal unto him. My faith lies with you, surrendered into this water from sin. Today I am free, offer praise up to thee, for your love reigns again. I emerge in kind, the man left behind, filled of spirit within. And I still attend church, and I still play in the band, because I got a weekly gig now. All right. Wordplay. I like you like I love you, as love is how I like, and every bit about you that there is to like. The poem continues on, but it gets a little more crass, so I call this one the family-friendly version. As I was finishing up my last book, I wrote this poem, and the end, the last stanza really stands out, which is why it also made it to a magnet. To reflect is in our nature. To reflect is in our nature. We shine to lift others up, a beacon of hope, a promise, a gesture of being in touch. To reflect can be quite private when seeking truth from within. A solace found, if for ourselves, a prayer answered yet again. To reflect is more than a thought. We show grace in how we serve, giving of your time and goodwill. Intentions are so observed. So reflect as one with nature, with no better way to be. While you're looked upon in wonder, they'll reflect that which they see. Yeah. And sometimes I'm a little sentimental love guy. This is about the one that got away. It's about a girl. While out by the lake, dreaming under the sun, a doe walked up to graze. She was so beautiful, so enchanting, I couldn't take my eyes away. She too must like it near the wood. At least one thing we could share. Her smile seemed so innocent, so good, resting under the sun, silent and rare. I'll not forget her, nor this day. Hopefully in time she will return, allowing me to finally awake, and I'll no longer have to wait my turn. I remember that day. I do remember being at the park and seeing that girl and started writing, but I didn't know where it was going. Then her boyfriend walked up and I'll no longer have to wait my turn. And then I fell in love with Janelle. Good answer, Dad. All right. A sonnet, like I was talking about before with pentameter. A sonnet is 14 lines of pentameter, iambic pentameter if you're talking Shakespeare. 10 syllables per line. But-up, 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 but-up. With rhyming couplets in each of the stanzas, Shakespeare is well known for writing his poetry in this format. The bard was a master storyteller. My very first poem, we're going to see that later on. My very first poem was to a girl, again, that I had met at high school during a theater summer camp, and I later ran into her during junior college. When our planned date fell through, I decided to write a poem as if, like what we had learned at camp, a sonnet, and it flowed. Having structure actually helped me to hone this craft. Years later, when I would pick up the pen again, another sonnet found its way into the page with ease, followed by dozens more. Pentameter seemed to be my strength, my voice. To this day, most of my personal poems to mark life milestones are written as sonnets, including this one, which is the second poem I'd ever written. When I was living in Madison, I decided to try it again after graduation, and it flowed. As life is pondered and knowledge is sought, reality of existence draws near. Questions of time and of self are thought not, while awareness of all plants itself here. Denial and confusion plague the young mind. Powers of science and church don't explain. Once risen above facts, one can then find a world of energy from a new plane. This level of peace progresses the soul. Spirituality opens a door. Creativity will be shared with all. Concerns of tomorrow happen no more. And as you'll see on a magnet, the cosmos is grand with infinite sight. Tap into the source and share of the light. My first haiku, and I forever love it, goes great on a coffee mug. Unclear as I wake from fading fog of deep sleep to welcome this day. Oh. While the poems in this collection do stand on their own, I wanted to take the opportunity in this pictorial format to tell some of the tales about influential moments and people throughout my life. These are my Raven stories to go along with the cover art and the theme. I'm sharing about family members and close friends through fond memories as a way to honor them. So you'll be able to read with your copies about how I named my first drum. And guess what? It was about a girl. And her name was Ashley, so I call the drum Ash. All the other details are in there for you to discover. Enjoy. To try your best is all I ask. Each day will bring you right by me. Kind of feels a little Celtic. And it's more for myself. I have levels of expectations I want to live up to. And every day, each time I do the right thing, I'll be right by me. I was out canoeing with the Boy Scouts. Finally, away from all the city light. I'd come back from the Midwest, back to Washington, in Washington, where I could do a 50-mile trip with the Boy Scouts, a whole week on the water. And this came out. The sky is so vast tonight, just as I expected, just as I remembered. So much more clear, yet far. What can I expect? What don't I know? I listen to the water, the sounds of night unending, the quiet still not there. From here I look, maybe hoping, with all I remember of this night, with all expectations growing more. That was my first free verse type poems. I didn't have any changes. I wrote it, read through it, thought, well, that works. Shared it with the troop the next morning. The sleepy scout kids did not care. But my parents liked it. And again, I do have full poems, and I have snippets from those poems. You'll probably find this later on as part of the full poem. But it's true. I give, as I've been called here to serve. I give because the world has a need. If you like that, it's on a magnet. Another haiku that I wrote while we had a blood moon eclipse a couple years ago. My thoughts are on you. Under the eclipsed blood moon, we both look upon. I may be here watching this. You may be another country away watching the same thing. Not if you're into science and know that that's not how it works. But the sentiment remains. Now, when you open the books, I do have these oftentimes paired side by side with other similar themes or images like flower and petals or the seashore. Sometimes I also pair them where I wrote a poem 20 years ago, and I wanted to write a reflection on that, a companion poem. And so I decided I'll even take one of Ed's pictures, and then for the reflection, I just flipped it. So it's kind of along the same shore. When I decided to move back home from Wisconsin to Oregon, I wrote this, and it became one of my signature KJ poems. Becoming me. It's becoming me. It's self-assuming. That which began as a simple ideal, that which I've been working for, learning. Oceans remain open, so to reveal. A future unfolds with me on its edge. All of my currents now flow into sea. I grow more wise with each moment I age, so drifting and touching all that shall be. Sunlight surrounds me. Life has found me strong, with where I began and how I've arrived. Answers make themselves known from a question on where I belong, so making things right. By living these moments of discovery, I so find me with gaining clarity. So 20 years later, married with kids, career not quite thriving the way I wanted it to be. That happens. I decided to find out about becoming of me. It's becoming of me, of who I become, accepting a path, awaiting for more, facing ever forward toward the warm sun. Beckoned, I emerge along the same shore. Following this path that shows me my way, I reflect upon times not so profound, welcoming their outcomes day after day. My current flows forward rather than down. This journey has yet to end as I've hoped, a stalled momentum from where I began. Upward, I'll rise until when I'm let go to become one with the ocean again. Humbled by events beyond my control, with purpose I push to ever prevail. Now I have a new career. Thank you. One of my earlier poems. So yeah, I also got them on their own pages here. Who we are. We are but blossoms of the earth. We are, and yet we're so much more. This place we make is for ourself, to find out more of who we are. We are the creation of self. We've been given fuel from our star. Nature is life, always shall be, our sense of home and place to start. We are flesh, water, and the birth. For generations we mature, regardless of our place in time, regardless of written scripture. We are the fruit of this blossom. Some are ripe while others are pure. As a society and kind, we find out more of who we are. I love this photo. It's got so much happening with the ocean, and coming up, overlooking the ocean from above, the rainbow, the grass. So you rise from the water, sin taken away, engulfed in spirit. Listen and obey. This is one of my very newest ones, and the way it came together, including the spacing, really worked for me. And pyramids. In fact, it almost looks like mountain peaks coming out of the clouds. We come together, dance as one around the fire, in the here and now. That's timeless. What's up with that? There's no words. Yeah, there are. I wrote a Raven story, Under the Same Stars. It's about my father and my time growing up and out camping with him, and then how I came back and later in his life reconnected and eventually spread his ashes under those same stars at that same campground. You can read more about that with your copies. It's personal for me, and I hope it means something for you too. Another two-pager. I have a left and a right in the poem. I wrote this when I was visiting Brookings. I would go from Portland to Brookings, taking the kids to go visit Grandma and Grandpa. And over the course of a year, for like 5 different times, I would take a little KJ break, go to the coast, and write. I need any kind of break I can get. I'll take a fast break. I like Reese's. It's actually a song. It's lyrics. I've never put it to music, and I think it works best just as it is. A serenity can be found in this. None of the chaos has been missed. My mind drifts away into rest. How can I remain like this? There are more answers which lay within. But from where am I to begin? To escape into the skin, where I'm to find out who I am. Like my blood as it does flow, my soul shall continue to grow. And as each day may take its toll, in the end I will come to know. Autumn air. Hey, today is the first day of autumn. To cleanse my breath, I see Orion passing over my head. Throughout the winter, I reflect instead. I take a long walk to clear my head. Another year may pass, and so it's said. New stars reside now over my head. Seasons will change as layers are shed. Deep into the skin, my soul is fed. Before I continue, when I was living in Madison, my buddy used to live like a mile away, and I'd hang out with him, and I'd walk home. And it was also like midnight, dead of winter, snow, Orion over my head. Throughout the winter, I had a lot of time to think. And it was freaking cold. So the other side of that, the other page, and I see you following along. Thank you for doing your job. On the ocean shore, I can feel the mist, a warm, pleasant breeze, soft as a kiss. Carried by the current's sweet caress, how can I remain like this? As I look out across the sea again, it is from here that I'm to begin my journey toward the horizon, where I'm to find out who I am. Like the sea as it does flow, my search will continue to show another day has taken toll. Yet in the end I have come to know. Autumn air to cleanse my breath, I see Orion passing over my head. Throughout the winter I reflect, instead I take a long walk to clear my head. Another year may pass, and so it's said. New stars reside now over my head. Seasons will change as layers are shed. Deep into the skin, my soul is fed. Thank you very much. My grandmother's passing. She's 100. She's made it that far. Yeah. She's sticking it out. She wants to make sure she makes it all the way through the election. Yeah. I'm not going to go there, but we're all hoping for the first female president. Yeah. That being said, facing the darkness does not have to scare me so. Peace will see me through. The cosmos is grand with infinite sight. Tap into the source and share of the light. This is Yellowstone with the Milky Way. and the aurora, and some geysers. Like, yeah, I got to do something with that picture. And no, I did not take it. No, Ed did not take it. But Ed did take this picture. In fact, when I saw this picture, I thought, I think I could write something about that. So there were a couple times here where I actually found a picture and wrote for it. The reflection I see is not of me, yet rather of those whom I encounter. Bonds that build us to be ever better, to shape and to mold into who I'm meant to be. Again, pentameter, rhyming couplets. Usually they're like A, B, A, B, or A, A, B, B. This one kind of mixes it up where it's A, B, B, A, as far as rhyming couplets. And it has a different feel to it. But they also have a special message if you get it just right. Because I say so. All right, this one is for Kaylee. So reflect as one with nature, with no better way to be. While you're looked upon in wonder, they'll reflect that which they see. And that's like my mantra. So you're going to probably see that more and more, because you're going to be my friends for a long time. The guy I wrote this book in memory of, Jim Johnson. You get your own book later. You haven't died yet. You're good. So I wrote a poem for his funeral. Watch your step coming down. Yay. And the closing of that poem, if only I could have shared once more of my light, given back another day instead of fading into night. Jim, I miss you. This is your fault. Thank you. Or wherever you may be. Hell.
Thank you, Jim.
Set your fears aside, the heartache and hurt you hold. Comforted through prayer. Another haiku. I really like haikus. Can you tell? I also like doing like alliteration with the H's and being able to use the beginning of the same letter from word. That would be the conventions of poetry. Got to plug those in when you can. Another poem I wrote where Ed gave me a picture, I thought, accepting the scars from a life worthwhile does not diminish from the story told. It shall distinguish the journey in style, one that's remarkable, daring, and bold. This one, of course, you got the scars, the wrinkles of the veins of the leaf, but I was pondering about family members that are aging, but also myself. I'm aging. I hurt my ankle and my knee and this and that. But you know what? All those scars, they have a story to them, and I'm proud about those stories. My very first poem. Originally it was called KJ's Sonnet Number 1. Eventually I had to stop numbering them and just give them names. It's about a girl, the one that the date fell through. But hey, for love there is no greater lifelong dream. When one comes across it, none else is seen, except the beauty the one before me has, and hope for future love that will not pass.
Kiss me.
Oh yeah. I remember the day that we first met. Your face, I'd never let myself forget. And though we may change in the years to come, when our eyes meet, I know you are the one. Fate shows itself in many different ways. Be it hope, be it love. These are our days. I'm going to be a grandpa. For us, forever may pass quickly by, but my true love for you can never die. If you're alone, or if ever in need, just look in your heart. That's where I'll be. I've recited that a few times.
That's a KJ one.
That's a signature KJ, yeah.
Yeah. That's KJ.
Destined for Crater Lake. If you want to hear the story about how I met my wife, buy the book. It's a beautiful story because I left Madison, I left the band, they were going through a breakup. I gave a year to come back on sabbatical. I was going to go back. I didn't go back. Instead, I fell in love. And then we had a kid. And we had another kid. Now she's going to have a kid. What's up with that?
Gonna be a grandpa. Grandpa KJ.
When in need, we all have our place in this world where we belong when we're in need. Using our gifts to better ourselves, sometimes to follow, others to lead. When we can be used to enrich, where our talents are most in need, a hole is filled with just who we are, positioned together to succeed. While I wish to lift others up, with much at stake, still I have a need. I aspire through art, not for myself, for personal praise, this I concede. Why have I yet to benefit? Why must I struggle, still in need? I give as I've been called here to serve. I give because the world has a need. Which is why I remain patient, waiting for when I'm in need. Place where I can influence once more to contribute my gifts, so to lead. There was a period where I was struggling. No, my teaching career was not taking off, and everything was just difficult, and I had to get some poetry out. But I always make it so that it gives me a little bit of hope, and maybe you a little bit of hope at the end. Like this, as only I could. Same period of time. I worked so hard to do my things right, to make a difference, guiding as light, to serve and create a model of good. Yet struggle I must, as only I could. I could have become something much more, not for myself, yet deep in my core. Opportunities missed, misunderstood, so stumble I shall, as only I could. I would accept all that's been earned. Another chance with all that I've learned. Strong I become while endorsing what's good. Determined I am as only I could. I will entrust and rise to my goal. Be the difference I seek, in control. Beyond anything that's not as it should. Be the better me, as only I could. And I do hope these are making you feel like I got to tell this to somebody. I got to share this with other people. Others need to hear this and maybe feel better for themselves. I'm a Boy Scout, can you tell? I had some trouble in Scouts. I had to quit. But I came back into it for all the right reasons. And I continued to do that as a model of good. I'll let you read that story with the book you buy, but I want to let you know, to this day, I do follow the Scout's oath on how I choose to behave. To be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, and hungry.
Okay, Jerry. I was kicked out of the Cub Scouts. My mom was den mother.
Yeah. Yeah, I was bullied. I had to quit, but I came back. And then I moved and just didn't bother after that. And then I became an adult and decided I got to bother because it's important. All right. As I was writing the closing pages to this, I came up with this really cool line that I thought, wow, this is a great closing. I'm cool with that. And then Ed said, well, you should make that a picture. Okay, I did. So improve yourself always, and the world will improve with you.
Nice. I love it.
In theory. There was a poetry.com or Facebook poetry thing, and somebody put a writing prompt. I love writing prompts. You can always send me a writing prompt and I'll try it. 13 words, use some alliteration, go. Okay. Something so simple as a sorrowful setting sun can still move the heavens. Then I found that picture and I thought, well, that goes with it. It was meant to be. I like wordplay. Finding my calling. I'm going to read this one to you because this is also really special. After high school, I moved to Puget Sound. I had picked up a job at Dairy Queen while also starting school at Pierce College. While I didn't meet many people at college, I did make a great friend at work. A lifelong connection that helped shape me into who I was becoming, how my interests would soon evolve. Music had been a big influence in how I decided my personal time. Jeff, see, I'm representing my friends through these. Jeff and I would go to a bunch of concerts, a ton of concerts. During the early 90s, just as the Seattle scene was exploding. While I wasn't a musician at the time, my excitement for live shows would ultimately define me. After 3 brief years, I would move away to finish my college theater degree back in Idaho, where I would eventually align with my first band. I had a college roommate that wore a shirt for the Bedheads, and he recommended I check them out for that weekend. Okay. I got to the bar early and watched while they were loading in. A theater guy, I like loading in and loading out. Not the physical labor, not the ladders. But once their set began, my ears perked up. I made my way to the dance floor, and I spent the rest of the evening just entranced. That night I met Rick and Mike and would join them in a supporting member of their band. This led me to start supporting other local bands, including Circle of Knots. We were all in Wisconsin together. With Rusty and Angel. As we were all graduating together, I would take a leap of faith to use my theatrical and stage lighting background to elevate their live performances as we regrouped and moved to Madison, Wisconsin. It is from here that my career dynamically changed, from just putting on plays to maybe finding my calling in live performance. I belong here, on stage and in the booth, bringing a show to the people. Maybe now, when some aspiring young adult comes into my element, a fire may light for them to find their own way into the creative arts, where they can shine bright with their evolving talents. So I don't do it just for me, but I like doing it. As we close, spiraling within this path of warm light, visions of my goals appear up ahead. My wings open up so I can take flight. Winds of inspiration now point my head. Check this out. You're watching an eclipse. So now it's even better. All the poetry in this book are my original works. I have included some sonnets and haikus, pentameter, and other formats, as well as taken favorite stanzas and lines from my catalog to give new life with these inspiring pictures. My first book served to tell the backstory of my writing, with many of those favorite poems selected for this new compilation. In the years since Earthshine was published, new content has been created for this special collection. I talk about other projects like my talent pool that I got going on with my creative arts studio. And I've also been partnering with others with their creative arts projects so we can do it together. Same audience, and we're all about mentoring and teaching and giving others a chance to create and feel encouraged to create. I play congas with my church worship team. What's that?
I would call you my mentor. Thank you for all of this.
That's why I invited Brianna. All unicorns are welcome. I play congas with my church worship team as well as percussion in other local bands. I've been technical director in the community theater. I've been a professional stagehand with event venues for touring shows and concerts. For me, it's all about service to others, giving back to the community, and using your skills toward a greater good. Improve yourself always, and the world will improve with you. So surround yourself with all that gives you purpose, that which makes you whole. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. And with that, thank you. The rest of the time, social time, I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to sign the books. Jason back here has got magnets and books, including my old book and my new book. Cash only, but hey, if you don't have that, I got Cash App, or just connect with me. I'm not really worried about it tonight. I'm just glad that I got a full house. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Eat, drink, be merry. There's music upstairs. There's more drinks upstairs. We are at Jefferson Spirits. Enjoy the spirit. Thank you.